Hey everybody, happy Monday. Had a bit of an epiphany yesterday and I wanted to process it with you guys live over video. I figure there's no better way to go about it. So a lot of you who follow my work are gonna know that I was and still am on a journey of healing through some codependency stuff, some anxious attachment stuff, and it's really been at the forefront of a lot of the work I've been doing is really exploring my love style towards myself and towards others. And so I had an interesting experience yesterday that really, I feel like something major shifted for me, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it. So I never realized I realized it here, but I never realized it here, how deeply entrenched I was from learning how to love myself from pain rather than from love. And I'll explain that a little bit further. So my experience with men has been one of always attracting men who don't know how to show up, who don't have very strong capacity for empathy, and aren't able to love me the way that I wanted at the time, okay? Now looking back, I realized that I was attracting exactly what I needed, actually, because the universe is never going to give me what I want. It's going to give me what I need, right? Because the difference between want and need is ego and soul. Ego tells you that you want to be smother loved, you want somebody that's going to be with you all the time, that sort of thing, because it's all about fear. It's fear driven, right? So you want love that's going to feel very, very safe, very possessive, so you know that you always have control over it, and it's very driven by fear. And then on the other side of things, you have more soul-based love, which is selfless love, which is true, authentic love, which is driven by the soul, right? And that can be platonic, that can be intimate or romantic, it doesn't really matter. So my experience has always been about attracting men who can't show up for me, who lie, who cheat, who do all these things, because I was being guided towards something much greater, which is learning how to love myself. And I believe that we always are vibrationally attracting things in our lives to take us to that next level, to that deeper capacity to love, which is the spiritual evolution, right? It's always bringing us closer to love. And through attracting these men, it really, really cracked me open. Each relationship, looking back, had a pivotal part of cracking me open to getting me to a place where I can feel a deep sense of love for myself. So this all came out yesterday. I was chatting with somebody online and they were making comments about my hair and how I look like a backpack beggar, and then he said that he's like, ew, your hair is gross or something like that, and just completely projecting his own lack of worth, really, is what it was. And for me, it didn't bother me, but it was a little bit of a poke at like nudging me, like, this is it right here. It was so cool because I was like, holy shit. Most of my relationships had that flavor, and I don't even know what clicked, but something clicked and was like, I have been learning self-love from a place of pain. So I let people get me to a place where I don't feel good enough, and then I build myself back up. And then I get to a place where I don't feel good enough and I build myself back up, right? So it's like self-love is happening, but it's always just spinning your tires. You're just kind of staying at this place. And I realized that if I can get myself to a place where my fuel for self-love can be love, just love, right? It doesn't have to be pulling me out of a trench or whatever, then I could really, be like this illuminated ball of love, right? It would just be amazing. And then, so that was yesterday. And then this morning I woke up and it was still with me. This experience was still with me. And then in my meditation this morning, I had this really profound experience. My ears started to ring. And every time my ears ring, it means that something is shifting inside of me. My vibration is changing. My energy is shifting. And I just had this like overwhelming like feeling of just peace and like love inside of me. And I was like, holy shit, this literally, I just watched this pattern I've been playing out for years. I just watched it transform literally in front of my eyes. And you know, I don't know, it was just really cool. So I feel like now I'm at this place where I'm ready to invite in this deeper sense of love for myself. And through that, you know, through deep self-love is where you learn how to actually give love as well. Because for me in the past, I've always given the type of love that I want back, right? That's selfish love. That's possession, right? It's not really love. It's you saying, I love you with conditions, right? So I love you if you love me this way back. And when love comes from that place, it will create pain, right? It will create, it creates a really painful experience for both people, because nobody wants to be shaped into loving someone the way that they need. You know, the best way to love is to show up whole, and the other person shows up whole, and you guys create an experience for each other where the love that you have actually makes you love yourself deeper. And then in that sense, you have a deeper capacity to love the other, right? So it always starts with you. And for me, this has been one of the biggest learnings I've had in my life to this point, is learning how to love. And I'm not sure where this, you know, everybody has a theme in their life, right? And your soul reincarnates into this body, into this time and this space for a reason, for a purpose. And you know, if you can find out what that is, what's your purpose, what's your theme, what karma are you trying to rectify in this life? And for me, I think that's a big one. It's all around self-love. It's about learning how to love myself in, you know, through all the things that I saw myself as being defective as, whether it's being gay or you know, other traits that I don't like about myself, and then taking that nucleus and then learning how can I love another through this experience of learning how to love myself. And so anyway, I'm reclaiming myself right now in this moment and just saying, you know what, I'm ready to find someone to come into my life that's going to complement my life and make it exciting and more fun and more fulfilling. And they're going to hold up a mirror that's going to reflect back to me what I am, which is what all the other men were doing for me, right? They were holding up a mirror, but what I was at the time was I was not feeling good enough. I was not feeling whole, so I was being reflected back to me that. And now I'm at a place where I'm feeling good about myself, and I do have a deeper sense of love for myself, and I'm ready to invite somebody in who's good at holding up a mirror. And you know, you can't hold up a mirror unless you are conscious. The mirror of love, I should say. You can't hold up a mirror of love if you're not conscious, right? So that's what I'm putting out there today, and my intention is that I'm looking for a conscious man who understands himself and has the ability to hold space for himself and for another, right? That's pretty important. So yeah, I think that's the main points I wanted to make. One of the other things that I wanted to maybe address is how to get into the vibration of creation, right? Which is what was happening with me, is that transformation, that ringing in the ears. There's a couple things that and I wrote them down here so I didn't forget, but I wanted to talk to you guys about each one. So the first part of getting in the vibration of creation is really, and this is just about transformation, like creation, transformation, change. It's all the same thing. You're creating a new experience for yourself. And the biggest thing for me, the tipping point, right, which everything just spilled over, was giving up control. Okay, because you can't be in a new experience with somebody else if you're not willing to give up control. You cannot be in a relationship with the universe if you don't give up control, because the universe has your need in mind, you have your want in mind. It becomes this battle, this conflict. So once you surrender to your wants and your desires of how you think things need to play out, that's when the universe can come in and align you to everything that you desire and everything that you're meant to attract into your life, right? So that's number one. Number two is trust in my purpose. So I was sitting at brunch yesterday, and a new girl that I met, she's actually Canadian, first Canadian I've met, or actually, I should say second Canadian I've met since I've been here. Total sweetheart. She said to me, well, that's the experience that you're creating for yourself. Because I said, well, I'm looking for a person that's not all about sex, that's not all about this. They actually want to have a meaningful experience. And she said, well, that's the experience that you're creating about yourself. She's like, you have to look at it as a positive. It's not negative for you to want to have, to be picky and want to have this experience. So you're looking at it as a downfall, and I look at it as this is a blessing, right? That you have the ability to hold yourself in such high regard and have such high self-worth for yourself that you're not willing to settle for less, right? And I was like, you know what, that's huge. So my purpose is that, right, is to know my worth and not settle for anything less than that. And that's in every aspect of my life. The third is have confidence in my ability. So that's something that's wavered my whole life, is confidence in myself. And in one area I can be confident, in another area I couldn't. And there's different things, and I've just had to accept that about the human experience, because we're all like that, right? Confidence isn't static. You don't just get it and then you just have it, right? It's not about that. It's very dynamic, and it ebbs and it flows based off of your mood, where you're at. If you failed, you might have lower confidence. You might be confident in one area, not confident in another. But the key is to have confidence in your abilities that you're innately gifted with, right? And for me, it's self-awareness. It's to be able to understand my experience and be able to interpret my experience and use it to help empower my life, but also empower the lives of others. And then the last one is to stay in the present moment. This is the glue for it all, right? Like it really is the glue for it all, because if you're not in the present moment, you're in your mind. When you're in your mind, you're in past or future. When you're in past or future, you're in unhappiness. It's inevitable. And if you're not in happiness now, you will be eventually in past or future. It always leads to the eventual end is always unhappiness. So for me, that's the vessel to which all my change comes, right? My change only happens, my transformation only happens, my ringing in my ears only happens when I'm in the present moment, right? And that's when everything gets to come in, and that's when everything just gets to move. The energy moves, the energy shifts, and well, bam, you happen, right? So the key is to just be in your beingness and allow yourself to have the experiences that nature is waiting for you to have, right? That's really what it is. It's nature. We are natural beings. There's nature happening in our bodies right now. I'm breathing, I'm talking, I'm thinking, my cells are all dividing, everything's happening, and I don't have to do shit, right? You just sit back and just enjoy. That's the beingness of the human experience. And so allow the present moment to penetrate you, and you need to set time aside to do that. So sit with yourself and chill out, and just allow the present moment to shape you and take you on the journey that you are meant to be on. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. Sending you lots of love. Ciao for now.